the grind, the men who have goals, the men who are starting a business or already has a business, the men who are going to college, getting into tech, the men who are getting certifications. Guys, the average amount of sleep that the majority of these men and these ladder climbers are getting is anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. So I thought I wasn't normal. But when you're around people who are grinding like you, right, you are pretty normal. So I don't feel as bad as I once did, as I did before, right, about, not getting as much sleep at night. Now, I go to bed early, but, what ends up happening is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock wakes me up, and I'm up for a good 3 or 4 hours thinking about stuff, going through stuff, learning some stuff, using that time to download information and get prepped for my next day and so forth. And then I don't get back to sleep. So anyway, I need to figure that piece of it out to where I can get more sleep. I think we all can get more sleep, but ultimately what it comes down to is when you are a high performer, and what I've noticed, high performers don't sleep 8 hours, 7 hours straight. They may sleep 4 to 6 hours and take naps and short little breaks like that, or catch up on the weekends. So I didn't feel as bad after talking to my brothers and getting the poll done by the patrons and having those guys give me some validations there. Let me do this real quick, guys. I think overall, when you're in the season of trying to accomplish a lot and you have a lot on your plate, you're not going to be getting a lot of sleep. There are seasons where you can take a bit of a break, where you will get a good 7-8 hours of sleep. Right now, that's not my season. I don't know when that season will be. Maybe it's a vacation. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But that's not my season. And it's for a lot of the ladder climbers in the Patreon. It's not their season as well, too. So, seem pretty normal. If you haven't seek coaching yet, you're not investing into yourself. Doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be by me, right? But one of the things is when you become a premium Patreon member, you get access to me to get coaching on a quarterly basis, right? So if coaching is something that you will eventually need, become a Patreon member. You don't have to just talk to me. You can talk to Brother Jabron. You can talk to Brother Noah. You can talk to a whole bunch of smart individuals that has it going on and so forth, right? So become part of the Patreon group. The group is growing, and the group is a powerful, strong network. We talk about tech all the time. We talk about the lavishness of having a great salary. We talk about, putting in the work and so forth. But there is a lot more that we can be talking about. And tonight, we're going to be talking about some of those other things that we should be talking about. Let me do this. I'm going to pass it over to Before the Billions, a good brother, to have him come on and give his experience as well, too, man. Before the Billions, man, how are you doing, brother?
Doing well. Glad to be on here. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. It's a good Monday. I can't complain, man. I can't complain at all, brother. What you got on the topic tonight, man?
Yeah, I really resonated with this topic. I was like, man, I need to make a video on this too. Right. I had many videos in the past where I was talking about the pros and cons of being a contractor. I have Professor Black Ops on my channel talking about that as well. And his and our experiences are going to be different. But as somebody who's coming into the tech industry, right, is you'll have a contract between the employee and the employer, right? And of course, the contract is that I'm supposed to be working enough to not to get fired, and then providing that value. But then the employer is also going to be paying me the benefits and also the cash, the equity, whatever other benefits, and just enough so that way I don't quit. Mm-hmm. Right now, with that being said, you can most definitely get into the tech industry. Let's say that you went the 4-year degree route, like how I did. You get in there, you work exceptionally hard. You can go in, you can get a contract position or a full-time position, and then you'll be able to solve extremely intense and complicated bugs and problems, and you still may not get rewarded for those things, right? So it's no guarantees in life in general, but it is something that I wanted to point out is that you're gonna have to work exceptionally hard, and then there's no reward for if you don't take time off. There's no reward for if you fix an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something that you have to be able to work hard regardless of if you're going to get a reward or not. But you also have to be able to leverage your network, just like how you bring up all the time.
Yep.
I got Professor Blackhouse, got Gabe Bay on the chat too. You know what I mean? That's a network, right? We have these people who have many years of experience, and they're able to give advice, but also be able to maybe match with you on LinkedIn and tell you the game.
Yep.
So, I'm appreciative of everybody who I've met on YouTube, but also in my own career as well. I'm just starting off, and I have a long way to go.
I do have a quick comment.
Go ahead,
if it's okay.
Absolutely.
About the contracting. So a lot of times, and I did the contracting work for a while too, right? Whether it was government contracting or whether contracting directly with an organization. And the thing about contracting is that a lot of times organizations don't bring contractors in order to I guess progress within that organization. Like, I learned quickly that contractors had a different relationship with the employer than full-time employees. The full-time employees are expected to be the individuals who are there long-term. Those are people who they're like, okay, we see these people for supervisors and managers type of positions, but contractors are typically brought in to perform a particular task, work hard, get paid much more than that of a full-time employee. But as it concerns career progression, a lot of times organizations don't look at contractors or career progressors unless they bring you on full time. And I had to learn that for being in the office and working as a contractor. Not to say contracting is bad, but if you're looking at those promotions, if you're looking at being moving up within that particular organization, contracting is typically not the main way that you do that. A lot of times they want people that are hired on by that organization. I don't know. Professor Black is saying something different. Or
no, I'm just gonna chime in. You're 100% correct. I make a lot of money, and I'm leaving after 3 years to get more money. That's the plan for me.
yeah.
Well, when you think about it this way, right, gents? So you're absolutely right, Gabe. And here's the thing, right? You got to think about it from a company perspective. Why is it that I'm going to invest a lot into you where I know it's just for a short amount of time? Right? Where I know what your ultimate goal is eventually is to, potentially complete a mission and be done. Why won't I invest into an employee who I think is going to be around for a little bit longer of a time? So I get it from the business aspects of it where, if you come in as a contractor, they're not going to look at you as being the next, CEO. I mean, unless you come in and do something really exceptional. But the majority of the time you're coming in just to complete a mission, and unless you're in a contract to hire, right? If you're in a contract to hire, then that may be a little bit different situation. But my understanding a lot of the times is there's specific contracts for a lot of these projects, and once the project's done, they kind of wipe the hands behind, to say, you know what, we're done. And if it works out from a business perspective to keep you on to do something else because you're super talented, then the company may do that as well too. But I don't think they look at you overall for, an investment opportunity to say, hey, Professor Black Ops, you're about to be our next vice president of security or InfoSec.
Yeah.
Can I make one more comment on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, B2B. Go ahead and comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say that when you brought up the contract to hire, is that there's a plethora of contract to hire positions out there for a lot of people. Usually it's between 6 months, and then with the extension usually. So usually it's going to be 6 months to hire, or it can be up to a full year up to hire for a lot of these people, especially in Atlanta, Georgia. And also, I will say this is that, even though you may sign on as a contract to hire, they can just treat you as a contractor. And then you'll just be extended and extended and extended, and never get to the actual hire part. And then that's not necessarily saying that you are going to be making extreme amounts of money or anything like that. I actually looked at my salary and I was like, what? I was on the low end. I was like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be on the high end, right?
But, that's why I think that you should purposefully contract. A lot of times, I think probably the best reason to contract is to gain additional skills in that area, right, of expertise, and then get out of there, right? Because a lot of times you need to get as much as you can from that, like pretty much experience and skills is really what you're looking for from a contract role, typically, like overall. But I would say get as much as you can and then dip, because they don't have long-term aspirations for you. So you shouldn't have long-term aspirations for that organization unless you're trying to come in as a full-time employee. But if they keep extending it, then like, listen, I got to get up out of here because they just trying to keep me on. But